Hello everyone, it's good to be with you for another midweek video message update. I hope this inquiry finds you safe, well, and healthy. By way of delivering some good news from God this week, I want to borrow an illustration that I experienced just a few days ago. And I want to share that experience, first of all, by identifying the Thenato phonetic alphabet. The Thenato phonetic alphabet is that word association with letters code word strategy for communicating quite often over radio or in other practical situations. For example, if you needed to communicate the VIN number of an automobile to your insurer, you would use numbers and letters, but some of our letters sound alike. For example, M's sound like N's and P's sound like T's. And so what we do is we use words associated with letters that are differentiated, so we know then exactly what letter it is that we are communicating. So A is for alpha, B is for Bravo, C is for Charlie, D is for Delta, and E is for, I can't remember what E is for, so let's say eggplant. I know it isn't eggplant. And then, of course, foxtrot, I can always remember that, and so on and so forth. I had a conversation with a teacher the other day, just asking the teacher about their experience of returning now that the Detroit Public Schools are beginning their school year just today on Tuesday. And the teacher shared with me an experience of a new mother on the telephone. She was trying to communicate her email address. And my teacher friend was having difficulty understanding what it is, that the spelling of the person's email. And on the other end, the mother was communicating to the teacher, that's N as in nasty. N as in nasty. And when I heard that story, it made me think, it made me wonder, what is it? What is the life experience of some people when their code word, when their word association for different letters is something that profound to communicate struggle and attitude and just a daily life experience. N is for nasty. If I were to ask you what your N is, if you were communicating something to me, and I ask you, what does your N stand for? What would you say? Well, I hope your N might be something like neighbor. I'm absolutely convinced that that would be Jesus' N word for the Thenato phonetic alphabet. N is for neighbor. And I'm reminded of a passage in Mark's gospel when the scribes are together and they're quizzing Jesus, they're testing Jesus, and they're asking him, what is the greatest commandment? And Jesus says this, recorded in Mark's 12th chapter. The first is this: you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and your strength. The second is just like it: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And then Jesus goes on to explain that there is no difference between loving God and loving your neighbor. In fact, you love God by loving your neighbor. My hope for us is that if we were to assign, or as we assign, code words to all the letters of the alphabet, that our N is for neighbor. Let us go about the privilege of being in authentic relationship with God by loving our our neighbor. And one of the ways that we can love our neighbor right now is to continue to wear masks. Again, be safe, be well, be healthy. God loves you.